Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is the 45th tutorial in this course, and in this tutorial we're going to see how we can use forms and how we can obtain values from form fields in PHP and pass them around to different script files, right? So the code might appear to be a little heavy, when you just glance at it, but trust me, it's really simple, and we're going to just cruise through it. And you might want to check out my tutorial on HTML forms, because there are certain things that I'm not going to discuss, like what is the purpose of having the action attribute, and what is the purpose of having the method attribute, or how you create the individual form elements. I'm not going to discuss all of that in this tutorial, because if I would do that, then this will be like what, 20-minute long tutorial, and I don't want that. So I've already created a tutorial on using HTML forms, and you can find that in my playlist on HTML tutorials. And in this tutorial we're going to concentrate more on the PHP side of working with forms, right? So as you can see, I have two files opened up in my text editor, Notepad++. The name of the first one is form_source.php, and the name of the second one is form_destination.php, and this one actually looks much neater, because this has less of HTML and more of PHP. Over here you've got like non-breaking space characters and everything's going on in here, right? So anyway, in this file on line number 6, I have the form tag, and the action attribute gets the value where you want these values to be sent. All the values that we are going to collect in the form, where you would want to send these values, you type in the name of that file within double quotes, and assign it to the action attribute. So it gets the value form_destination.php, because that's where we want to send, and the method has to be post, right? So we've seen the get super global when we passed values in the query string. In this case, we are not going to pass values in the query string, we're going to use a form, so that's why the method has to be post, and that's why we are going to use the post super global here and not the get super global, as we used in the case of passing values through query string. And then on line number 7, I have the text name, and then I have a text field. So I've used the input tag, and then the type is text, and the name of the field, the name attribute here is very important. A lot of times we see that when we're just seeing how to create form elements, we ignore this attribute, but here it's very important. It has a lot of significance. So the name attribute gets the value name, and this is actually going to be the key with which we are going to access this value from the post super global in the destination script file. Then I have a field for age, and it's also of text type, and the name of this field is age. And then I have a field for gender, and this one's going to be a radio button, which will have two values. So one radio button is going to correspond to male value, and the other one is going to correspond to female value. So apart from just specifying gender as the name, we also have to give a value for each of the two values for gender. So for male radio button, you want to put male as the value, and for the female radio button, you want to put female as the value. The name, however, has to be the same, right? So that's the trick. When you're using radio buttons, you have to use the same name, otherwise people will be able to select both radio buttons, and that's not what you want. If you want to do something like that, then you might want to use checkboxes instead of radio buttons. But the purpose of using radio buttons is when you've got like 5 or 6 options, or as many options, and you want the user to be able to pick just one of the several options, so that's why you use radio buttons. And then on line number 14, I have a field for email, and again, this is a text field. And then I have the submit button here on line number 16, and input type equals submit, and the name of this field is also submit. So let me show you guys how this form would look in the browser, and I look for form_source.php, and this is how it's going to look, right? And this must seem familiar when we sign up for pages, or so many places, when we're providing information, we see such forms. And I have the submit button here, the email text field, the radio button for male and female, and then text fields for name and age. And next we're going to see the code that we have in the destination file, and we're going to try to understand this. So the first thing is, if I just in a new tab, if I look for localhost and then the name of the destination file, which was form underscore destination dot php, we see form was not submitted. And the reason for this is I have an if construct over here, and it's going to check whether the form was submitted or not. So it's going to see whether the variable $_post with the key submit has some value in it or not. And this is going to get a value only if we actually click on the submit button here. So only if you click on the submit button here, you're going to see values on this page, right? So that's the significance of using the if statement here on line number 7 in the form underscore destination file. So you have the condition as is set, and then within parentheses you have $_post and the key submit, and this corresponds to the submit value that we've assigned to the name attribute for this particular form field. And then the rest of the code is actually pretty simple. So if this condition is going to fail, then we're going to get into the else block, and we're going to display this text on screen: form was not submitted. But if the the submit button was actually clicked on, and if the values were sent, then we're going to obtain those values just the way we did using the get super global. So we're going to use the names of the form fields as the keys for the post super global array, and we're going to get the values. So echo, we're going to see the text name first, and then $_post name, and then $_post age is going to get us the age value, then $_post gender is going to get us the gender value, and then $_post email is going to get us the email address. So I'll go to this, I'll close this file, this tab firstly, and then I'm just going to type in some values here. So John, and then the age can be 25, and well, John is a male, and John's email address john@gmail.com, right? So I have all those values ready. When I click on the submit button, I see these values here. So I don't see the message form was not submitted this time around, because I actually clicked on the submit button and the submit button was set. So the if statement actually evaluated to true, and we were able to see the values that were passed from the form source file, right? So that's it for this tutorial, and I hope you guys had fun watching this tutorial. And in case you have any doubts, feel free to comment on this video or send me messages, and I'll reply to them as quickly as possible. And you may subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'm going to see you in the next video, in which we'll discuss something interesting again. And that's it for now. I'll see you soon. Till then, take care.